you see an Idoma person wearing that native attire, that is not juju, that is not voodoo, that is not demonic. That is not. We demonize so many things. I was contemplating with my team as we're trying to renovate the church and repent. And we say, we can't remove the white color anymore from the church. And the reason being because anywhere you go to in Wadata, North Bank, and you said, I'm going to Powerhouse, they say, that white church. It has become the portrait of the church. We can't remove it. We can't. And I was saying to them, I wish to continue painting the church all white. And the reason for painting the church all white is because, maybe because of where I'm coming from, where I believe that people should be organized. People should live an ordered life. But it's unfortunate that a lot of people are not organized. So people come to church and they are rubbing their hands on the wall and they know it's white. And the reason for painting white is so that people don't touch the wall. I don't know if you understand me. Is it possible for people to come to church without touching the wall? The answer is yes. And that is the reason why we painted white. Because we want excellence. In the spirit of excellence. But I realize, when people see the white color, they want to touch it. They want to feel it. You don't feel colors. You don't feel it. We use money. We spend money. I remember the other day Mama told me, he says, it seems like some people are not happy when they come to church and they snap and the whole background looks beautiful. Actually, I think some of you are not always happy. Because if you are, you will not dirty the church. When everywhere was white in here, oh, why is it white? It's Ogboni's spirit. Ogboni did not create white. Then we had a meeting and then we were looking for the best backgrounds that can give our cameras, to bring out good picture quality. And then we looked for a color that can reflect. And then we settled in for this. And somebody comes into the church and see red color and see the chairs red and, and they said, what is this? It looks like all this Ogboni place. You are far from reality. It's a culture. It's a culture. There is something that makes people unique. I don't do things to please people anymore. I don't. I used to love chains that ties my neck so much. And my wife woke up one day and said, I don't just like it. I don't like it when men put chain and it ties their neck. And I'm like, oh, you don't like it? Oh, all right, it's okay. And I stopped wearing chains on my neck. And one time I went to preach in an NKST church, and then an old man, after preaching, he came to me and says, you preach so fantastic. I've never had a preacher preach the way you preach. You are so sound biblically. So sound. He said, but all through your message, I didn't hear much. I was distracted by your hair. So I came back and I sat with my wife and I told her, I said, we are in a certain society that don't understand this. I'm going to trim this hair down. And she was like, okay, it's okay. If you want to, I don't have a problem with your hair. So I went and pulled down my punk, pull it down to the level where it is. And then the man told me about my pattern. I used to have long pattern on my hair. And he says to me, you can do better without the pattern. You will look better. And I close up the pattern. I did it because that is an old man. If preaching, if the way my hair looked could be a hindrance to preaching of the gospel, then take it off. Let people hear. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I did that. So that the gospel can have a free course and be preached And the reason why I did that is because I think I was about the first preacher. I think so. I was about the first preacher who was keeping that kind of punk and doing this kind of hair and putting that kind of wide pattern in this town, in this state. It wasn't used to people. It wasn't used to people. But you know what? You can't continue to keep explaining why you do what you do to people. You can believe what you want to believe. That is your business. When you go to Mr. Biggs, do you ask them why they use red, white? When you go to Destas, do you ask them why they use the colors they use? There is something that has to do with the culture, the belief, the system, the selling point of the people. It is same everywhere. Same everywhere. The word ritual is not demonic. You know, do you know that a church is a shrine? Do you know the meaning of shrine? You think shrine is demonic? You know, I remember being in Uganda and then they told me, they were showing me where the martyrs that were killed in Uganda were buried. They call it the shrine. The shrine has nothing, it's a place of worship. But you see, because the church had not used such a word for a long time, demonic forces speak those things and begin to use it. Ritual had nothing to do with occultism. Ritual, I have defined it. If you are not here when I defined it, go get the message. I don't have time to do that for you. But the bottom line of what I did, the definitions I gave, it has to do with your ability to do something consistently, constantly, continuously, effectively, without breaking ranks, doing something at a particular time. Please, there, can you sit down properly? Doing something at a particular time. Same thing at a particular time. It's called ritual. When we did opening prayer, it was a ritual. When we did praise and worship, it was a ritual. When I came up and I sang the songs of the church, that's a ritual. I am preaching now. This is a ritual. That is what ritual means. So we are saying now, we looked at different things. What are the rituals for one to do in order for you to have good fortune, to have success, to have result? We looked at different of them. Now I want to zero into two, and I trust that God will help me because of time, because I want to wrap it up. Quickly, Deuteronomy, Daniel, leave Deuteronomy, Daniel 6, give me verse 16, 17, then you jump to verse 20. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the lion's den. Everybody shout, they cast him into the lion's den. Was Daniel a righteous man? Was he a servant of God? What was he doing in the den of lions? Being born again does not exempt you from troubles. It doesn't. We need to settle that this morning. The wind will come. Challenges will come. Troubles will come. Paul told the church of Corinthians, he said, for every temptation taking you is not common to man. That means whatever you are going through now, somebody somewhere had gone through it and they came out of it. You're not the first. Learn to commonize your problem. Somebody's going through what you are going through. Somebody had gone through what you are going through. You are not alone. You are not the first. Don't exaggerate your problem. When you exaggerate your problem, it looks like you. When you don't exaggerate it, it doesn't look like you. Stop exaggerating your problem. Let me talk to you. I'm coming, but let me talk to you. Stop exaggerating your problem. Stop saying, this is my problem. This is my problem. Words don't die. Words don't die. And you will need words to counter words. And you will need words to cancel words. Words don't die. They create. They create. My problem will never look like me. So I will never speak about my problem. If I don't talk about my problem, it means it does not exist. When you speak about it, you give it life. You bet it into existence. You give it the energy to survive. How many of you have children? I believe many of you have children. I do believe. I have. And so I believe many of you have children. And even if you have not given birth yet, probably you have people living with you. You have children around you. One of the things that children don't like worldwide, globally, they don't like their parents, on their guardians, on their teachers to ignore them. Whenever you ignore the devil, he is always mesmerized. Watch. Children gravitate towards people who give them attention. The moment you don't give any child attention, they run from you. Stop giving your problems attention. When you don't give them attention, you act like they don't exist, they will naturally avoid you and